What's up, everybody? We're back again for the R. Kelly chapter of The Pursuit of Porsha. I have a couple of my YouTube buddies coming through. The first of which we have Alex Salter TV.
Hey, what's up?
Alex?
What's up?
So this is Alex's first time being on my channel. Alex has a channel of his own. Check it out. Surprisingly, he's really similar to me. I don't know.
And I'm sober today. I'm sober.
And he got me drunk on his channel. There's actually a little bit something extra in that, but we won't go into that. But I posted his stream. He had a New Year's stream. Check it out. If you want to see drunk memes, there you go. And my next guest, I have Scotty by Nature TV. Hold on 1 second. What's up?
Hey, Scotty.
What's going on? Had to get myself together first because I just got in the house.
So Scotty also has a channel. It's pretty big.
Oh Lord,
he has a big reach. But I just recently met Scotty. I thought he was really dope, so I invited him. Plus, he likes a good gag and read session about Miss Williams. So, without further ado, I decided to give you guys a little bit of an overview before we start. Porsha's mom and dad were together when she was born. They have a little brother. The dad cheated on the mom the whole duration of the relationship. They broke up. He got with Lauren's mom. He then cheated on Lauren's mom. And Porsha, being 10 years old, told. So he continued to bring Porsha around his mistress, except he would then leave Porsha in the hot car all day long.
That's probably why her brain fucked up. It got fried by sitting in that damn car all the time.
And it has begun. A running theme, though, is that Porsha very rarely will give you what she has done, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is where she's showing you she has been victimized throughout her life. We move on to high school. Now, Miss Diane at this point owns a daycare center. Porsha is enrolled in an alternative high school where my subscribers told me, because my subscribers are detectives. They let me know where the school was at, what was the school district, that it was alternative, and mostly it was kids with behavior problems. So
Not surprised.
She had all this money, all this access, and she ends up in an alternative school, but she does not tell you why. It's just kind of like a man.
So she was running down on Alice when she was in school too? Oh.
Or not going.
Probably not going.
I mean, clearly she wasn't going if she thought there was 265 days in a year. And it's clear that she wasn't going because she thought that the fucking Underground Railroad was an Amtrak station. So clearly she wasn't going to school. You know what? Let me stop. I'm starting too early. Let me stop.
I mean, that's what this channel's about. So,
Just let me stop.
What Porsha does not tell us is any regular guy that she dates. She moves on to talking about dating a football player. His name is Clinton Portis. That she met on the set of one of her music videos, because y'all know Porsha was a video girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she does not tell us which videos she was a part of.
I know which one she was a part of.
Me too. I got screenshots.
What it is, ho? Oh, what's up? Let a nigga get in no goods. She was in a Trillville video. She's in a Trillville video. Trillville is associated with Lil Jon and Lil Scrappy. Yes.
You like this particular pic?
She looks so different. That don't even look like Porsha.
But another running theme, because me and my subscribers have dissected this, another running theme is that Porsha never feels like she is equivalent to the other people. So on the video shoot, she stayed by herself, supposedly. She didn't talk to other girls because she didn't really feel like she was a video girl. The running theme is that she is above it.
Okay.
So While on the video shoot, she meets this football player. She pretends like she doesn't know that he was a football player. His name is Clinton Portis. He's helping her make rent because her daycare isn't making enough money to pay the staff. So he's giving her money for that. He's flying her out. This was a big part. Porsha felt like she was the only black girlfriend when he would flew her when she was getting flued out to go to the games, right? She said that she felt like she was acceptable because she had baby hairs and her weave made her exotic.
This is the dumbest
exotic.
woman. This is the dumbest woman I
Wait,
ever.
did she wrote this in the book?
Yes, this is all dissected from the book. She felt like her baby hairs and her weave made her exotic.
I swear to God, this book sounds like Cat in the Hat. I swear it do.
No, listen,
Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss.
And she claims that she didn't think that this thick neck motherfucker was a football player. Eventually she gets pregnant by him. And she's saying that football players like that don't really like black girls, but the black girls they do hang with, they want to hang out in the club, they want to hang out at the hotel. Her exact words. They just don't want to wife you, and they want you to stay low key. So that's an important theme that I want you to remember. She is establishing that she knows what it. She's not a video girl. She's not an Atlanta thought, but she knows that they want to sleep with them. They want to take them to the hotels. They just don't want them in public.
no.
So she then tells Clinton after already confirming with the doctor that she's pregnant, but she's telling us in the book that she's already told the doctor the name of the football player she's pregnant by. So what person goes to go get a pregnancy test and you name first and last name who your baby daddy is, if it wasn't because of the fact that they're famous?
Right.
She's so dumb.
Did she not have someone review this book before it got published?
My subscribers are thinking about which country the ghostwriter was in, just based on the verbiage.
Yeah.
Because there's some like 2 to 3 syllable words that we know that she doesn't know nor can pronounce. So
It was probably Simon. She probably just had, baby, I need to do this book for me real quick, and that's it.
It might have been Londi. Londi seems pretty smart. Okay. So she then decides. So Clinton, she's thinking that she's dating Clinton, but she's told us that Clinton and her have been on and off for a couple years now. We've not heard anything about meeting the mom. We've not heard anything. She gets pregnant. He tells her he's not excited, he's not happy, and he says, "If you choose to keep the baby, have it and give it to me and my mom."
Ciao.
So that doesn't sound like a girlfriend to me.
Yeah, that's somebody you fucking on.
So
And he didn't want to pay that child support either. He said,
period. That's why he said, "Give me the baby."
Exactly.
You can go about your merry little way, but I can have my
Smart
own
for that.
child.
But on this research, on this channel, we do research. Come to find out, I don't think he was the only one that he was telling that to. Because he owes his mom $500,000 and he owes 4 women child support payments totaling $400,000. So,
man, these
Porsha
football
might have
players,
been
they be having babies left and right.
They do.
it sounded like he had a plan. So maybe that $500,000 was babysitting. He owed his mom. Because how do you owe your mom $500,000?
Right.
So she terminates the pregnancy. And that's the end of that relationship. She then, another important part, she meets another dude and takes him from her cousin's friend. And when the cousin calls and says, you know that that's actually her boyfriend, Porsha responds, well, he picked me.
Yo, so listen, not her giving us hints back in the day that she was about to be a man stealer.
Child, I'm a man eater.
Flags.
I'm a man eater head hunter.
From the earliest point. So I know y'all's reviews are going to be fire now that y'all got background.
Ooh. I wish T was up here. Ooh.
He's going to come in. He's going to be popping in and out. We talked a little bit earlier. So Porsha then tells us she steals this man. She lets us know that he owns some franchises, right? Each person she's letting us know, she's letting you know she won't date somebody that works at the Valero, Exxon, any normal job. He owns some franchises.
He got to have the money, huh?
He gives her his credit card to go inside the mall, and she goes and she buys herself a diamond ring and a bracelet. And a diamond bracelet.
Not a diamond ring.
And then tells him this ring symbolizes that we have a promise to get married. So she used this man's money.
This broad is stupid.
Yo, she thirst. Listen, that'd be. I would have left. I'd be like, red flag right away. What the? You buying yourself a fucking diamond ring?
She is the definition of a red flag. If a red flag was a person, it would be her.
She used the money. He wasn't happy. He doesn't really say anything about it. We get into some deep stuff where they date. It was really foggy. I'm thinking she alluded to the R word, but I'm not really sure because she left it kind of open-ended. Some people say that she did that for legal reasons. But we don't know for sure. So that for that part, we took that very seriously. We hope that that's not the case, but just in terms of the book, she left it ambiguous. So we don't actually know if that happened. And that's where we left off. Do you guys have any preconceived notions before I get started?
I already know this is about to be another hotels book. Hotels. That's what it's going to be.
Don't do Jasmine Sullivan like that because that's my favorite album.
Well, this is exactly what Porsha should name her book, Hotels. Porsha Williams, The Hotel. That's what it should have been called.
Oh, also, I know you two might be interested. If you are looking for her book, it's found in the Christian Living section.
You shady.
No,
it is found in the Christian Living section.
Oh, you don't have to worry about it. I won't.
Yeah, listen, we're good.
I won't.
Right next to Corinne Steffens. Or you can get the audio book. It is actually free right now.
Oh, I definitely don't want that.
Not free. What's going on here? What is going on, Porsha, girl?
We do research around here. We do research.
Yeah. No, we're good. We're here for you. We're good on that.
Yeah, we're good. We're good for you.
Because
because I'm not spending no money on her. I already spent 99 cents on Flatline when it first came out. No,
you bought Flatline?
I did. That's when I actually liked Porsha.
Child,
Scotty, I don't know if we can be friends.
I said that was years ago. Years ago. I would never do that again. Years ago.
All right. So we're starting like a couple pages right before we get to R. Kelly. Let me pull that. Okay, it says when I received my inheritance money after my grandfather's death, in addition to starting my first daycare, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with that generational blessing. I wanted to move out of my mama's house. I really wanted to show my mom that I could do it all by myself, that I could be independent just as she had taught me to be. I didn't realize how hard that would be, especially when I was surrounded by men who only saw me as a means to an end, men who wanted to use me. Sometimes it was financially, other times it was sexually. I wouldn't learn until later just how much hurt cloaked my entire being, attracting broken men like flies to a cold piece of watermelon left out on a hot summer's day. Again, it's completely a victim. It's not that. I need a self-help book in the Christian Living section to give me aspirational messages,
right,
and a how to not make the same mistakes that I made.
But she's victimizing herself.
She falls short almost each time. But
again, hold on. I'm stuck on the part where she said that all the men that she's been with trying to use her and for money or sex. She literally bought herself a diamond ring from that man's credit card. herself. But they're using
asked
her.
him what was wrong with him. He said, "What's wrong with you? Why are you so angry?"
Exactly.
It's her exotic baby hairs. That's the problem. When you Oh, sorry. I told you we do research on this channel. Real quick. When she was in the Some Cut video, this was her hair. So
look at the little side hair right there at the top. What's going on right there?
I do see a little bit of baby hair though. I see a little baby hair. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. I didn't realize it at the time. I couldn't even see the signs. I couldn't tell that they could sniff my low self-esteem from a mile away. But there they were. Men who saw me, my naivete, my good credit, and my propensity to never fight for too long, feeding their egos and their fucked up desires for my life. Excuse my profanity, but we got to call a thing, as Iyanla Van Zant says. And she also, the writing style is a little weird too. She goes in third person sometimes, and she brings it present day sometimes. Like baby hairs, I didn't think were a thing in 05. But apparently for Porsha, they were. Her and Chili. Right before the housing bubble burst, banks were giving out loans to everybody with good credit and a pulse. Thanks to one of those men who targeted me, I took advantage of that. This guy, whom I met right before I started dating Clinton, had convinced me that he wanted to date me and wanted to help me launch my first business. But she says she was in a relationship with Clinton, the football player. But you're steadily talking to a guy who you're saying is taking advantage of you. So that's a little it's a lot of hypocrisy. But let's be real. I didn't need his help. I was the one who had the money. Still, I ended up trusting him. So when he told me one afternoon, your credit is good, let's start investing in properties, I didn't think anything of it. Reminder, Clinton was paying the bills at her daycare. But she's investing money with this guy.
Child.
Okay. I always knew that I was going to be an entrepreneur, but I figured it would be the family business of service, whether it was serving the community or serving underserved families. I didn't think that I could be a real estate investor. I ended up being approved for a $2 million loan, which was surprising to say the very least. But in a strange way, I felt proud that I had gotten approved for so much, not realizing how much they were inflating the loans. I felt investing was a business I could get into, make my mom proud, which is all I ever wanted to do. I had grown up in my mom's daycare center. I had worked in it since I was 17 years old, but it was nice to have this other business altogether that I started on my own, that I could do and show her that I was responsible. Our plan was to purchase 2 penthouse condominiums, both listed for $500,000 in Buckhead, which is an upscale area in Atlanta. This is going to show my mom that I am doing it. I'm responsible. I've used my grandfather's money properly, and I'm setting my future up for generations so I can pass down something to them. When I went to sign the paperwork to purchase the 2 condos, I heard a familiar voice right when I was about to sign the document. By the grace of God, I paid attention to his voice, this energy, this ancestor, my gut, my God telling me, do not buy 2 condos. Something in my spirit told me, Porsha, do not sign that paperwork. Don't do it. Let that apartment go. Just buy that apartment, please. So I did just that. I bought a penthouse in Buckhead and rationalized to myself that I couldn't find renters to pay my mortgage. I could always live in it. Later, I felt conned by this man who pretended to be interested in me, so I would open up my wallet to him. I'd look back on that moment as one that saved my financial life from legitimate ruin. This guy ended up being a middleman and paid himself the closing cost of my penthouse condo. He had big talk that we'd run this real estate investment company together, but in reality, I would have been stuck with 2 mortgages, and he'd be nowhere to be found. Thoughts?
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm eating. That's why I'm not on camera. But child,
that's fine.
First of all, who's that? Who's his voice? I'm confused. She had a voice in her head telling her not to sign.
I think it was God. I think it was God.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Okay, R. Kelly. I wish I could say that this was the only time I had been taken advantage of by men, financially, physically, emotionally, but it wasn't. Throughout my 20s, I was forced to continue to protect myself by listening to the guiding voice of God. When I touched down in Chicago, I spotted a man holding a sign with my name on it. He was my driver, a light-skinned older man who drove me through the frozen streets of Chicago. There are a lot of girls that come here, my driver said as we neared the house. I didn't know if he was trying to make conversation or warn me of something, but I'd soon find out. I thought I was going to a recording studio, but instead we pulled to the side of this huge house. When the car finally stopped in the circular driveway, I opened the door and the driver helped me grab my black Calvin Klein luggage from the trunk. As I walked into the side of the home, a big guy escorted me from the car into what looked like the basement of a home. It almost looked like a security checkpoint because it was bland, all white room where two guys at a table were staring at security cameras. Hey, Porsha, come on in, a familiar voice said. It was Lenny, the dude who invited me out here to meet R. Kelly. I'd randomly met Lenny in the middle of a lounge inside of the Bellagio in Las Vegas. I was with some friends, chilling, drinking, minding our business, when he slithered over to us trying to make introductions. Wait, that's a Biggie song, isn't it? Chilling, drinking, minding my business. Right, that's a Biggie song, right?
I think it is.
So now she's a plagiarist. Okay. No, I'm not. Well, are you an artist? He pressed. I can sing. At the time, I honestly didn't know if I could sing or not. But my mama said I could sing, so I thought I could sing. She was always encouraging me to use my gifts.
She lied.
What gifts? So when Lenny asked me if I was an artist, posturing like he could help me make it in the industry, I jumped at the opportunity. I was a singer that day.
I listen.
Whose lines are, first of all, it seems like anytime someone tells her something, like it's real estate, she's like, I can do that. Now it's singing, she's like, I'm a singer today. Child, she don't know what she want to do. She lost. She real lost. And her mom lied to her because I don't know. First off, I'm still stuck on the fact that you bought Flatline. I don't know.
Listen, I was
but no.
Listen. Hear me out here, okay?
That's why she thinks she's a good singer, because you bought that. You
bought
that song.
Listen. Hear me out here now. I actually liked Porsha back then, so I bought the song. That's no different from me buying Mama D's I Deserve. I bought that too. So
okay? Well, I like Mama D. I don't mind that one, but I did buy this book, so.
But I can tell you this: Alex is not gonna let me live the fact down that I purchased.
You should just kept it to yourself.
There's a video. There's a video of me on my Instagram singing it recently to be funny.
You know good and goddamn well you like that song. Just admit it.
Yeah, I know. You said to be funny.
No. I did like the song, but I only did it because everybody thinks that I was hating her so damn much. But I said, I bet y'all didn't buy the song, but I bought it. That's why I made the video.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, my subscribers read me. None more than the one that's posted. If you're going in on him, you need to go in at Mims for buying the book and paying real money. Thank you.
But listen, I only spent 99 cents.
But the book was free on Amazon. So did he really spend any money on this book?
Now, see, listen, I'm done.
No, I did buy it. It was $3 off at Barnes and Nobles. It was like $24.
Oh, it was $3 off already, and it just came out.
It's free. You can get the audiobook for free. You thought I was joking? This is a real picture. If you go to Amazon, this is what you'll see.
I'm gonna look that shit up.
Oh wow.
Okay.
I'm trying to choke on my food. I'm sorry.
Oh my, he's really not lying. It's really $0. Wow.
Oh, also, I never do this. So, guys, if you like the video, don't forget to share it. I'm not monetized, so I'm gonna put my Cash App up. You are not required to Cash App me, but it will be there. So let me move this out. I'm really horrible. I never tell people to like and subscribe.
Well, please like, subscribe, and send them Cash Apps.
Please do.
He bought this book just for you guys. We gotta reimburse him.
Period.
Okay. I feel like my brain hurts sometimes when I'm reading it.
No, I'm with you.
Okay. And in that moment, I heard my mama's voice. If someone ever asked you to sing, you just do it. So I did it. I mean, this was an opportunity to work with R. Kelly. This could be great for me. This could be my big break. So I put those butterflies in my stomach. Inside their cage, stood flat-footed, and sang, "His eye is on the sparrow." Which is kind of funny because when R. Kelly, like years later, was on Dish Nation, Porsha sang "His Eyes on the Sparrow" for him, as if she didn't know him.
I'm gonna try not to choke on my food. You're such a liar.
Oh, you got a nice voice. All right. Everything after that happened so fast. Days after flying back home to Atlanta, I got a call from someone in R. Kelly's camp to get my information to book a flight out to Chicago to meet the man I'd later know as Robert. When I arrived in Chicago, I thought I'd be staying in a hotel and meeting him at a recording studio, but he had other plans in mind. I was so naive that I didn't realize I was going to a studio. I was going to his house. I was relieved to see Lenny when I arrived. He'd be the only familiar face I saw all day. After leaving my luggage at security, I followed Lenny inside. Robert's house had a cabin feel to it. Although the walls were an eggshell color, they were trimmed in cherry wood. We walked down a long hallway where two studios sat across from each other. You can sit down right here, Lenny instructed. It was my first time walking into a studio, but I was acting as if I had done this 1,000 times. When we finally got a moment to ourselves, I had to ask Lenny what was up. You didn't tell me we were going to his house studio. Not that it wasn't a state-of-the-art recording studio, but still, this was a really big detail to leave out. Oh, yeah, I meant to tell you, he stammered. He's got a studio here at his house, so this is where we'll be recording. You're going to be meeting Robert any minute. He's just in the studio across the hall working on something. Are you nervous? No, I lied. I'm ready. I was nervous, but like so many opportunities in my life, if I believed that it could happen, it would happen. If this opportunity was meant to happen, then I'd be ready for it, and it would work out for my good. I never asked why me. I always asked why not me. Similar to when she's talking about other people's boyfriends and husbands.
Exactly.
She never asked
why not me.
And then it turns
to why not me.
That should have been my banner. He chose me.
Okay.
All right, cool. I'm just going to have him play a couple things and see what you vibe to. Lenny left me in the studio to gather my thoughts. Little did I know it would be the last time I saw him, ever. I sat in the darkened studio alone thinking, oh my God, I'm in R. Kelly's house. At the time, he was a huge star. He had just released Trapped in the Closet. It was only a few years after he released Happy People, Ignition, You Saved Me, and every black person's cookout anthem back in the day, Step in the Name of Love. Why she decided to give his catalog,
exactly.
I don't know. But we had to get the catalog. I felt special. I felt like this was my big break. If I could just pull this off, I'd be one step away from making it. After a while, I realized I had been waiting for so long that I'd begun to think, who knows that I'm here? I really hadn't told anybody that I left Atlanta and had flown all the way to Chicago. My gut was telling me to check in, so I pulled out my phone so I could text my girl and let her know I was there, just in case. Now, we were kind of confused. Were people texting in like 2005?
I don't think so. I don't think did we have cell phones back then?
We had cell phones, but
I was in like middle school.
And what was this again?
2005.
Oh, I barely had a cell phone, and that was back then when I was in high school then though. So I don't know if I had a cell phone in 2005 though.
I mean, but that was like R. Kelly's like a murderer. Like she don't know who he is. Like she's making it sound like she just did this like last year when all those accusations came out with R. Kelly.
Right.
It was like back then when no one knew anything what he was doing behind the scenes.
Well,
so
I could say like,
oh my God.
I could say this: people were still kind of sort of using landlines back then. Like people still had cell phones, but they were still using landlines. Because I know my mother had a cell phone, but she still had a landline too. Because the phone wasn't free until after 9 o'clock, so she was on the landline during the day. So yeah.
Not Porsha. She was getting flown out. Porsha was the original city girl.
Exactly.
But you mentioned she didn't know who R. Kelly was. She also didn't know who the football player was, supposedly, until she got to his house. So she had established a pattern that she does not mind getting flued out to anybody's house. Anyway, a light knock on the door broke my train of thought. A guy that I had never seen before poked his head into the dimly lit studio. You can come in here, he said dryly, opening the door for me and leading me to a much smaller yet brighter studio across the hall. Robert, wearing dark sunglasses and a hat turned backward, sat in the corner of the studio, along with the guy who had just led me into the studio to meet him. An engineer sat at the board in the control room. Hi, I'm Porsha, I said brightly, walking up to shake his hand. Oh yeah, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I heard about you. He said a little too fast. You came with Lenny, right? Yeah, I've known him for years. He told me about you. You sing? He said you got a nice voice. Well, I'm working on this music right now. Matter of fact, sit down right here. Sit down right here. I want you to hear something. Robert pointed to a chair right beside him. But the other guy sitting in it, he didn't budge. Instead, the dude looked at Robert from the side, bearing whatever slick thought was in his mind. Hey, watch out, man. Let me sit here. Let her sit right there. Why did I just turn into Nelly? Sorry. Okay. Let her sit right there. The guy stood up slowly and found another place to land while I sat down in the seat that he had warmed up. When he nodded to the engineer, a song started playing through the studio speakers. It sounded magical, almost like the pitch-perfect notes were bouncing off the walls. When Robert started singing to the track, it made the song come alive right before my eyes. Wow, I'm really sitting in the presence of magic and true talent, I thought to myself, slowly bobbing my head along to the beat, trying to fix my face as if I was judging the song with the singer's ear. But in reality, it felt like he was mixing an intoxicating potion. The music was infectious. It filled up the entire studio. It rubbed the nervousness off me.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like it had broken the ice between us.
I bet it did.
This song, I just wrote this song. I'm not one of those people who read and write and stuff like that. Yeah, we just produced it a couple minutes ago as engineer turned around and added, wow, that's a really great song, I said. And it was. Within 15 minutes, Robert started treating me as if he had known me for years. It was actually kind of disarming to have him suddenly act like we were friends and I was his homie who stopped by to kick it in the studio while he was creating. Although it didn't feel forced on his end, I was pushing to catch up to the moment. I was there to prove I was trying to make my dreams come to the next level, but he never asked me to sing for him.
I wonder why. I hear you calling.
After he played his track, he didn't even talk about music again.
I bet.
What if I did speak up for myself just to be humiliated? Or worse, what if I was kicked out of his house with no place to go and no way to get home to Atlanta? Now, keep in mind, she had a cell phone. She's a business owner. So she has some form of money. And she already had her inheritance from her grandpa. So
I'm so confused. That's why I'm not understanding. Like, what is she talking about? Girl, get a cab. I know they have Uber, but you can get a cab. You call somebody. And didn't you just say you texted your friend to make sure to check in? But now you don't have a way to get home. All right.
I tried to rationalize the moment. Even if I don't do a song with him, at least I was present for this song. Even if we never got around to working on music for me, at least I was here for this. And what a privilege.
She about to bust it wide open. I already know.
And bring it back.
And look back at it. As I was in the studio kicking it and chilling, it dawned on me that I hadn't seen Lenny in hours and I had no idea where I was staying. I had 2 rollaway pieces of luggage that I had left at the security checkpoint and had no clue who to ask about which hotel I was staying at. I was nervous to ask because I didn't want to seem like I was uncomfortable. I wasn't. We were all watching a small television mounted in the studio while making small talk. Robert even complained about the interview he had just done where the reporter irritated him over some personal question, and we all laughed about it. He wasn't hitting on me, not yet at least. He was relaxed, cool, chill. He treated me like a friend.
Did he?
After a couple of hours, Robert stood up. I'll be back. His friend, the one who had led me into the studio hours ago, followed him. I was left in the studio with the engineer, whose back was towards me. I sat there for about 45 minutes, keeping my eyes glued to the television, confused. Eventually, another random guy who I'd never seen before came into the studio and said, "Oh, Porsha, you can come with me. I can show you where you can put your stuff." "Okay, cool," I said, standing up, relieved that I didn't have to sit in that studio anymore. As I looked around the cabin-like mansion, which, side point, I bet it kind of feels like Monique's house, because Monique's house looked like a cabin. Right? Like, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm imagining. Porsha walking around Monique's house from Potomac.
Oh, my God.
As I looked around the cabin-like mansion, wide-eyed, trying to take everything in, I walked through the home and up a flight of stairs. I was rationalizing to myself, he must be putting me up for the night in a guest room. Maybe I'm going to stay here and we'll work in the studio tomorrow. I was desperately trying to figure out what in the world was going on while not trying to rock the boat. It was a skill I learned early in my life, wanting to be liked, wanting people to like me, wanting to please, wanting to go along to get along. So I lied in every circumstance. No,
girl,
that was
we know.
I put that.
Oh,
I ad-libbed that. She meant to say that. It rarely served me, but in my mind, it was better than living in conflict. You can just stay here in the house or whatever, the guy said. Robert will see you later. With a house this size, I figured he had 2 or 3 guest bedrooms, so I didn't mind staying here before my flight the next day. But when this guy opened the double doors, I got the sense that he had just walked me into the master bedroom. Robert's master bedroom. Oh, this is a good point. Nacho Twins Mama said not rock the boat with the Alea references.
Listen,
I didn't even pick up on that.
This is a fucking mess.
Oh my God.
Okay. So now she's in the master bedroom. As I tiptoed in this huge bedroom, my thoughts rushed into my brain, bumping into one another. They were trying to make sense of everything I had said to Lenny, to Robert, to everyone. Could anyone have gotten the impression that I had come here for anything other than music? No. I was naive, sure, but professional nonetheless. I didn't even know how I ended up here or how I was going to get out. Now, I want to stop here for a minute because she said she was professional. This is a how-to book. Porsha gave us down to the designer of what she wore to her grandpa's funeral. At this point, wouldn't you have said, I was dressed appropriately in a pantsuit, or I was, you know what I mean? Like, she's not giving us anything other than this guy is very predatory, but she stopped short of anything that you're here to sing, you're not singing. You're not asking about singing. Your mama said if anybody ever asks you to sing, you sing. So you be ready, so you don't have to get ready. But she's not doing this, and she's not elaborating on anything that would tell us that she was naive. Right.
And she's saying she was professional, but you're not a professional singer. You don't sing. So and then you're giving a chance. You're in the studio with him all night, and you're not singing there either. You're just sitting there laughing with him and not saying anything about music. I mean, was he's not expecting anything else from you but for you to bust it wide open because you're not act like you want to be there for music.
Period.
And you walking up in his master bedroom, still not asking any questions. So you could have went home.
The people are not lying.
Listen, she really, like someone said earlier, she's really trying to take us for a fool. It's not working.
Right.
Especially now on this this is like what, 10th grade writing level? I don't even know what the fuck this is. Like, I'm not getting any imagery from this. I don't know what the house looks like other than it's like a little cabin. Like, I'm not getting anything. Like, Porsha, come on, girl. But okay, I'm sorry.
I mean, all these are fair statements. But she does think that we're a fool.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I looked around what was so obviously his bedroom with the poster bed that sat in the middle of the room. Around it sat an entire living room set complete with a couch. The room was huge. It also fit a table and a set of chairs. What was I supposed to do in there? I wasn't sure what I would do to pass the time. But as the minutes turned into hours and after what was on the television could no longer distract me from the surreal experience, I looked out the bay window. I couldn't tell what time of day it was, but my body let me know it was sometime between the thick of night and the dawn of morning. I peeked my head out of the bedroom door and looked down the hall. I noticed a photo of his ex-wife hung in the hallway and thought to myself, is he still married? Why at this point are you calling it his ex-wife? Like, she's playing in our face. In the same sentence she asked, is he still married? She's telling the audience
that's his ex-wife.
I'm back.
Scotty, so let me read this real quick for you.
Okay.
I peeked my head out the bedroom door and looked down the hall. I noticed the photo of his ex-wife hung in the hallway and thought to myself, is he still married?
Just so fucking dumb.
Scotty, in the same sentence that she's saying, is he still married? She's trying to tell her audience that it's the ex-wife. How are you questioning it and
also telling us that it's the ex-wife?
Right.
I can't sometimes. Like, I literally, I'm trying and I'm like, I'd usually try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but.
And then she literally said earlier she didn't know what time of the day it was. But girl, you have a cell phone. You can't like flip it open and say, "Oh, it's 12 midnight." Like, what are we talking about? I'm confused.
Right.
And a computer. She's saying she had no idea what time it was, but as long as I've known, your laptop has a time.
Well, I guess not 2005. They don't have a clock. They don't have a regular clock hanging on the wall. You can't tell the time of day. You can't look out the window and see it's dark. You don't have any of that.
I feel like Portia's laptop was like an Etch-a-Sketch, and she was just she was just sitting there playing it and sounding out words.
Not Etch-a-Sketch.
Okay. When I heard his voice, I reluctantly opened my eyes, realizing I had drifted to sleep. "I'm so sorry, baby," Robert said. "I wanted us to work later, but I got caught up." I still couldn't believe I was actually in R. Kelly's bedroom. Had I let it get this far? I had no idea what was in store, but I played along. "Oh, that's okay. It's all right," I said. Robert immediately started kissing me. "I'm really into you. I think you're beautiful," he said. "I'm just looking for somebody that I can spend time with. I need a girlfriend, a girl who's mature and patient and keeps a low profile. I need her. Can you be that girl?" "I'm super low key," I replied. I felt myself getting caught up in the fantasy, as if I was dreaming. "But what about your wife?"
All right. Well, first of all, I'm confused because she went from looking down the hallway at the pictures, and then all of a sudden she went to sleep, and I guess she woke up and he's next to her.
Child.
I'm confused. Like he literally just came out of nowhere in this book. Was like, yeah, he was next to me saying, "Sorry, I got caught up," and then we start kissing. Where the fuck did he just come from? I'm so confused. So did she fall asleep and then she wakes up and he was there and she wasn't scared by that, and then they just start kissing and she's like, "Yeah, I'm low key. I can be that girl for you." What are we talking about here? I'm so confused. I'm sorry.
Sometimes I have to go into the Porsha voice. I'm sorry because it does kind of help a little bit. Like it helps a little bit to be Porsha when things don't make sense. "I'm single," he emphasized, "and I'm lonely all the time."
Not lonely.
Side note, when Cordell broke up with Porsha, R. Kelly's wife Andrea sent Porsha a lovely message telling her to keep her head up and divorces are hard. Meanwhile, you have busted wide open for her husband while they were
first day you met him.
Robert, what? Oh, this is a good idea. Miss Mike said this book should be in the Zeus Network. I could see them developing this into a series. Like the Clout Chronicles. Okay. Robert said he spent so much of his time by himself because he worked so much in his craft. And when he was working, it was not only hard for him to meet people, but also hard to be around people. He acted like his gift was just so heavy on him, and that whenever it called for him to be in the studio, that's what he had to do. That need, that pull, kept him from a lot of relationships in his life. Robert said he just needed somebody who would be understanding of what he could give in a relationship and what he could not. Hearing Robert pour his heart out, it made me feel like it made me want to be that for him. Remember, this is the first day she met him.
Yeah, I'm gonna say she literally just met this man. What are you talking about? Okay.
She needs prayer.
This is day one. I'm sorry, night one.
It don't make no sense.
But my rational mind kept pulling on me too.
Her rational mind.
And it continued to pull me back and forth throughout the next few months. "So y'all not together?" I pressed. "No, we're not together." "Oh, okay." Because I saw her picture in the hallway. "We're not together. We haven't been together for a long time. It's just me. It's just me and my kids. I just like your spirit. It's something about you," he said, promptly changing the subject. "I want you to take your clothes off." My rational mind woke back up at that line. I could have laughed in his face, grabbed my luggage, and walked right out of the door. So she's acknowledging that she could have left. She's not saying at this point that she was held or tied or bound or anything. She has complete the ability to leave. But okay. I like to think that I would have if I wasn't in the middle of nowhere with nowhere to go. Or so she was in a gated community in like the most affluent section of Chicago. But she's in the middle of nowhere. Or I could do what had been done in so many situations and put what I felt, nervousness mixed with panic, to the side in order to survive what was about to happen. Plus, I'm already here, I told myself. I'm in his bedroom. I've already been in this house for hours. It's 3 or 4 in the morning. I've already put myself in this position. This is what you're supposed to do. You have to. You have to. There's no turning back. What are you going to do? Say no, and then what? Then you're stranded with nowhere to go. So I took my clothes off while he stood there looking at me. At that time, my body wasn't the body I have now. So this is pre-Dr. Curves, y'all. I was skinny, no more than 145 pounds. My body looked very young. I had no breasts, no hips, but he didn't seem to mind. In fact, it seemed to turn him on. How old are you?
I bet it did.
I'm torn on this because we do know who R. Kelly is, but Porsha at this point is a 25-year-old woman, right? Mm-hmm. So she's not telling us that her body in its form turned on anybody else, right? Because at this point, Porsha has dated many, many, many men. So why are you just choosing to tell us this at R. Kelly? That's some of the issues that I have. Like, she's in a little bit further, she refers to all these girls and stuff in the house as those girls. It's like she's foreshadowing, but then she never actually sees herself as one of those girls, right? Because at this point, you're a 25-year-old woman who is living your best life. You're getting flued out. You're doing whatever you want. Does that seem weird to y'all?
I mean, it's just not adding up, if you ask me. This whole little section right now where she's talking about her body, that's just weird to me too. It's like, what are you talking about here? One second you're talking about how, what are you gonna do? Because if you don't give out, you're gonna have nowhere to go. Which, I mean, you would just go sleep on the couch, girl. Like, what is he gonna do? Kick you out? But at the same time, now you're like, and I got naked, and this is how my body looks, and he seemed to like it. I mean, you seem like you're happy that he likes it. Like, are you trying to say like you felt uncomfortable, or are you trying to say that you're happy that he liked it? Because you literally just said he seemed to be turned on by it. We don't give a fuck about that. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's so confusing to me. I don't know. I don't understand what she's trying to say right here.
Hey, T.
What's up, Terrence?
Hey, Terrence.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
Better than Porsha?
I see. I'm still out and about. I can't stay too long, but I did want to pop up just to gag with y'all about this pamphlet that y'all reading.
Well, you can pick it up at any Barnes and Nobles in the Christian Living section.
Yeah.
Right next to Corinne's book.
Do they really have it in that section?
Well, they have Porsha's book, not Corinne's book, in that section. And if you want, you can get it for free on Amazon right now. So if you're interested,
I don't even want to listen to that BS, let alone read.
Okay. So we just came to the part where Porsha has met R. Kelly in his home. She saw Andrea, the wife's picture in the bedroom that R. Kelly's people put her in. She's asking R. Kelly if he's married, and he says no. But she's continuously asking, and he's saying no, right before they start to sleep together. She's telling the audience that he's divorced, but letting us know that he was actually married. It's really weird. But
she's weird.
He said, okay, so I took my clothes off while he stood there looking at me. At that time, my body wasn't the body I have now. I was skinny, no more than 145 pounds. My body looked very young. I had no breasts, no hips, but he didn't seem to mind. In fact, it seemed to turn him on. How old are you?
Before she purchased them.
Well, thank you so much for reading that. That go to all of y'all bitches that talk about she ain't had no body work done. I told y'all, Porsha was shaped like a little boy before she knew what she wanted to do. So thank you for putting that out there. I appreciate that because they got on my nerves. Thank you for doing that. Y'all need to highlight that in the comments. Thank you. That part.
Oh my God.
And so it begins.
I'm dead.
Stop. Okay. How old are you? He asked. 20. I replied before he cut me off from finishing saying my age, which was 25. Stop, he said. Let's just say you're very young. A few minutes later, I ran to the bathroom to wash him off me. I felt so disconnected from the man who had just told me how badly he needed me. I turned the sink on so he couldn't hear what I was doing. When I walked back out, his shirt was back on. You're good, Robert said, looking over at me. I gotta go. I'm supposed to be meeting this producer. It was around 5 or 6 in the morning, but I just let him tell me any excuse to leave, and he left. What I didn't realize when he walked through his double doors was that he'd leave me in this bedroom for the entire next day. The door wasn't locked, yet I didn't feel welcome to roam around the house alone. He never told me I couldn't leave, but he also never encouraged me to make a move by myself. He never told me not to open the door, but he also never invited me downstairs to get something to eat. By simply leaving me there, he disarmed me. I was frozen.
What?
I eventually got up the courage to call downstairs because I was starving. I needed something to eat. Thoughts of working on music sat in my mind, and that's where they'd lie dormant. By the time Robert walked back into his bedroom with me still lying on the bed watching television so many hours later, I was just happy to see someone. I was actually happy to see him. I can't believe you left me like that, I told him. You did it a second time. I don't like to be left alone. I want to go home. No, baby. Don't be like that, he said, looking genuinely hurt by the mention of leaving. Let me give you some money. You can go to the mall. Get out of the house. I had a business and my own money. I had friends, a loving family, and a mother who taught me better than this back home. I thought about my mom a lot when I was at Robert's house, and the idea of disappointing her and letting her down kept pulling me back to the senses and calling me home. Now, here's the thing. You did own your own business. She doesn't say that she didn't take the money.
Listen,
First of all,
Dr. Seuss written better books, in my opinion. But I mean, because none of this proves that she's a victim. I keep telling y'all that shit too. She was 25. She wasn't a victim. She was a like in everything that was going on around.
This whole time that Mim's been reading shit and informing me about certain things that I probably haven't heard yet. This whole book is all about her being a victim. It's not about her being a strong Black woman that she wants to say that she is with this fake ass activism she does. This is all about being a victim.
I'm just confused because she's making it sound like she was like held captive, but then she says he comes back in and she was so happy to see him. What? It can't be both. If you held captive, you're not gonna be happy to see him come back in the room, and it's not like you're locked in there. You can fucking go downstairs, down the hallway, see what's going on. You're not trapped in there, and you're still laying in bed naked, waiting for him to come back. You were just sitting there watching TV, waiting for your man to come back that you just met the day before. You said you felt a connection with him after he told you that he was lonely, and you were like, you know what? I kind of felt something. Then you literally had sex with him. He left to go downstairs, and you sitting in his bed naked, talking about, you know, he didn't tell me I couldn't leave, but also he didn't tell me that I could either. So I'm just gonna stay here naked, waiting for him to come back. Then he comes back in, and he gives you money, so you get yourself some McDonald's, and then come back and you go to the same thing again the next night.
Right.
Oh God!
Disappointing Diane, girl. If anything, you right up the par with what Diane wanted, because, like I said, Diane was a whore for round away too. So it's the same. I mean, hey, it's a generational thing, obviously.
Not disrespecting her legacy,
girl. Please,
what legacy as a video girl for Trillville? What it is, hope or what's up?
And I still say that y'all need to highlight that comment where she admitted that she was shaped like a little boy in transition. And that's the reason why Madame Cordell really wanted her. I'm so glad that y'all really need to put that in there, because y'all get my nerves with that. She always had this body. Girl, no, she didn't. That was out of all of that. That was the main thing I took from that.
Oh my God, Terrence, please, I'm begging.
boy in transition. I'm done. I can't.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, okay. I flew back to Atlanta that evening. I had never said goodbye to Robert during my first trip to his house, but I'd end up back there 2 or so more times. I was lured because I was young and insecure. I was lured because of his kind words and loving actions.
You're
I was
lured.
lured because of the combination of these two things manipulated me to my core. Each time I went, it got worse and worse. So again, she's victimizing herself. It wasn't that she's telling young girls, I fucked up, or don't put yourself in these situations. She's saying all of the things about her that made her susceptible to all of these men and everybody in her life that has done her wrong. At this point, we have never heard Porsha take accountability for anything that has happened to her. We've all put ourselves in situations that we should not have, but it's about owning what you did, telling the people so that they can correct it and they don't make the same errors. That's not what you get.
Wait, does she say how she got home? Because the day before she said she didn't know where she was gonna go, so she couldn't leave.
She had a ticket. She had a ticket the whole time.
How'd she get to the airport?
Liar. Just a liar, child.
Robert invited me back to Chicago through an email I knew he didn't write. That was shade. You know he's illiterate. Oh, when one of his drivers pulled me into his Olympia Field estate for the second time, security led me straight to a small guest room. So again, she's in like the most affluent section of Chicago. Mansions on mansions on mansion. I walked into this yellowish painted room, which was nestled beside the billiard room where the pool table sat. And again, Robert was nowhere to be found. Instead, I was left to stay in the room until he visited me. And again, the door wasn't locked. No one told me I couldn't leave, but it felt like I wasn't allowed to walk around in the house. I felt like I was on lockdown. I wish I could say this was a new feeling, being trapped in a room, but it wasn't. The walls eventually started to close in on me after a day, and I sneaked out of the room to get some fresh air. On my way back to the pool area. What?
I said not sneaked out of the room. What are we talking about?
It gets worse. I'm gonna do it in Porsha's voice.
It couldn't get any worse than what it already is, child.
On my way back from the pool area where I passed the security guard who invited me to swim if I wanted to, I bumped into a really pretty light-skinned girl in the hallway. She wasn't wearing any makeup and her hair was slicked back into a ponytail. She made eye contact with me. "Hey," she whispered. Matching her tone, I replied back whispering, "Hey, I'm Porsha. I'm over here in this room." I'm down the hall. "How many girls are here? I don't even know." Suddenly, one of the big security guards made his way into the hallway. "Oh yeah, you can go into your room right there," he said, motioning to her. Immediately, without another word and without making any eye contact with me, she disappeared. "You shouldn't talk to her," he warned. Now, I do think that this is where she's telling us that this girl was young because she didn't have on any makeup and her hair was slicked back in a ponytail. So I think that might have been one of the victims. "You shouldn't talk to her," he warned me. Robert eventually came to visit me in my room later that day with apologies dripping from his lips. "I'm sorry. I was working. You know how it be. Listen, come out with me. Come out the room." "Come out the room. Let's go get something to eat. My family's having a cookout." He led me downstairs to the family room where his entire family was relaxing, running back and forth from the kitchen, eating and chilling. Robert's aunt, whom I had never met, but who somehow knew my name, was there. "Hey, Porsha," she said, as if she knew me. "Go ahead and fix yourself a plate." By this time, it was my second day in the room with nothing to eat. I was so hungry. So I ran into the kitchen and piled food on my plate. But when I got to the potato salad, I paused. It was the most yellow potato salad I had ever seen. Wow, is this how they make their potato salad in Chicago with all this mustard? I thought I was hungry, but I wasn't that hungry. You can't eat everybody's potato salad.
Oh, wait, hold on. Can you rewind? She said she went 2 days without eating. She was there for 2 days and had no food.
This was the second day, yeah.
Child.
Listen,
this is a different trip, though, right? This
This
is the second trip that she took.
Listen, we can't say too much because then the people go say we re-victimizing the victim. So
she ain't no victim. She went once and then she came back. And ain't no one make her bust wide open. And then she literally had that whole rant about her being a professional. when you slept with a guy you just met in his master bed and you stayed there for a whole another day in his bed and didn't even get up. But anyway, I'm stuck on the part that she's literally been here for 2 days now. She didn't think to go out the room the first day to get some food. You just literally just sat in your little guest room, not thinking about eating. You just literally sat there until he finally invited you the next day, 2 days later, to the family cookout downstairs. His whole family's in the house. How do you not know that? How you have all these people in this house? You've never seen any of them because you've just been locked in your room, even though you literally just get out and walk away, go downstairs, get you some water. I don't know. And she in the guest room this time. She's not even in the master bedroom. Ciao. You got demoted on your second trip. It's sad.
So Terrence, a running theme in the book is she never feels like she is on the same level with other people who are doing the same thing as her. So she never, when she was doing videos, she did not feel like she was a video girl. She felt like the other girls were thirsty, so she would eat by herself and wouldn't speak to them. But she never felt, even when she was doing this Trillville video, that she was like the rest of the girls. She also told us that she could date football players because they thought she was exotic because she had good weave and her baby hair. She felt like her baby hair made her exotic.
Child, she give me Malaysia before the chin job. Like, that's what I guess so, Porsha. If you want to hype yourself up like that, honey, do so. I guess. Whatever, girl.
Sorry. Okay, so so in this scene, she's setting it up that she's not like the rest of the girls because she's allowed to eat with the family. This is what she's telling her audience. Another thing is we don't really know because Porsha stopped short of actually saying some of the things that happened. So if she was victimized, she doesn't necessarily write it in this book. You know what I mean? She leaves those kind of parts ambiguous, Terrence.
But so what's the purpose of the book? I mean, if you're going to make him a vocal part of it, and this whole thing is about him being what he is, I ain't going to get your channel demonetized, but y'all know what I mean.
I'm not monetized.
What's the purpose of him putting it in?
He's not monetized, Terrence.
Oh, well, for him being the sexual deviant that he is, it's just like, I don't see the reason why. I mean, that would have been my main thing. If he did something to me that I felt uncomfortable with, I would have put that in there. Other than that, I wouldn't be telling people that I was willingly laid up with R. Kelly when he had all them girls trapped up in the closet and in the attic and in the basement and all the rest of this shit. But that's just me. Whatever.
I feel like this chapter should not have been this long. Like, my boy Busy Blue was on last week, and we were talking about the video set, and she said she couldn't remember the names of the videos she was on.
Huh?
She says she could not remember the names of the videos, but we even got the curtain color for R. Kelly. We know what Andrea, his wife, was wearing in the portrait next to his bedroom. She can give all these descriptive details except for things that she feels embarrasses her. Where were we? Okay. Before I sat back down with the rest of his family, I heard a voice say, "Oh, you're such a pretty girl. Robert, you did good with her." Robert, yeah, man, you did good with her. It was his sister. "Oh, yeah, I love her," he replied to her. Eventually, he turned his hand to me and said, "Porsha, I love you, man. You know I'm going to have a baby with you, right?" Did y'all know that? His family either ignored us or looked at us in admiration. Robert laid his head in my lap, and I immediately forgot about all the anger I felt after being locked in the room all day. She wasn't locked in the room.
You were not locked in the room.
Jesus Christ.
Didn't he give you lunch money last time?
No lunch money.
What are we talking about?
Not lunch money.
Or was he sliding trays up under the door like Marceau do Letitia ass? Like he
Okay. This moment overrode any logic I understood about what was happening inside that house. I wanted to believe that I wasn't a girl he was locking in his room to use whenever he wanted or remembered. This was public confirmation in front of his whole family that he loved me, or at least he thought he did. I chose the fantasy of security and love and family over what was actually happening to me. Q Simon. What, like, this was 25 years old, and 40, she's marrying her coworker's husband. Like, I choose the fantasy of security and love and family over what is happening to me. That's what should have been the title.
Her second time meeting this man. Like, what are we talking about love here for? This is just not adding up. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Locked in an unlocked room. That would be another good title. Anyway, even with my own business, a supportive family and friends, I only saw myself through his eyes. I didn't see much. I didn't stay for long during that second trip, but Robert would call often. When he did call, I felt like we were in some kind of relationship. Again, separating herself from the rest of the girls that were there for a good time. Porsha now feels like her and R. Kelly are in a relationship after seeing him twice and being locked or unlocked in a room for 2 days at a time with no food. She feels like they're in a relationship.
Girl, that man was married. How the hell are you in a relationship with a married damn man?
She claims that he said he wasn't married.
Bitch, if I'm coming to this nigga room and he got a big picture of him and another woman beside the bed, I'm gonna assume that's your wife. I mean, but whatever. Fine. What
I'm just telling you what she said. Don't think I believe her. I'm just telling you what she said. She said I asked him was he married and he said he wasn't.
Did nobody proofread this for her before she put this out?
No, they did not.
We're thinking that maybe Londi did. Maybe Londi and Lauren took a day and rewrote it for her, giving her at least, I don't know.
That I can believe because some of the words she used, and Porsha don't know the damn words. So that I can believe. I can believe that.
Oh my God.
Okay. Even with my own business, a supportive family and friends, I only saw myself through his eyes, and I didn't see much. I was settled back in Atlanta when I received a phone call from Robert inviting me back out to Chicago. He came with more and more apologies, his signature refrain telling me, "I'm so sorry I left you in the room like that. I'll never do that again. I love you. We're supposed to be starting a family." Although my gut was telling me to leave this man alone, I unfortunately ignored it one last time. I touched down in Chicago and once again slipped into the backseat of a private car. And once again, I was greeted by security at the side door. This time I was led to a completely different room in a different part of the estate. I found myself in a fully mirrored room. Aside from the hardwood floors, the room was entirely covered in reflective mirrors. It had mirrors on every wall and mirrors on the ceiling.
He a freak. Ah, okay, Robert. I guess, child.
I was left in that room staring at a different versions of myself for 3 days straight, or it might have been 2 days straight. When you're left alone in a room like that for that long, you lose track of time. Thankfully, I brought my laptop with me. So how she lost track of time?
Exactly. What?
If I was going to be on lockdown, I needed something to distract me. I also made sure to tell a girlfriend that I was at his house just in case. I never understood how I let him lure me back into this house. I'll never understand why I was afraid to leave. And each time I wanted to be like, you know what? I'm getting out of here. Robert or a security guard would pop up, luring me back and convincing me to stay. After 24 hours of staring at myself in those mirrors, I called down.
I thought it was 3 days. Now it's 24 hours. All right.
Here's my thing. I don't mean to keep cutting you off, but here's the thing.
Help yourself.
She keep on saying, I got lured there. She's talking like she's one of those 15 and 16-year-olds that was in that situation. Girl, you were 25 and 26.
Ain't nobody luring no old rusty ass wolf pussy. Ain't nobody lured her to nothing. All right, she did what she thought she had to do to get to where she at. Now, I ain't mad at you, Porsha, but girl, just say that. Like all this.
Oh, Terrence. Oh,
keep in mind,
this was making me mad. Then I got to turn right around and watch this bullshit at 8:00. Like I can't.
Oh my God, right. And we got to review it, and we got to do roster review, and Alex probably going to put a panel together this week. But Lord, we got to talk about this girl all week.
Well, that's why it's good that you get in the background. You'll have amazing reads because she really thinks this way. So everything that happened to her at 25, she's repeating at 40.
Well, look at who her mammy is.
I mean, what's gonna be next? Simon lured her into the relationship. Is that what's gonna be next too? Sean?
Exactly. But Simon already told us that Porsha was the one reaching out to him before he was divorced.
Yep. She slid through that DM. She sure did. I think though, real quick, I think we got to keep in mind though, the first time she went to his house, it's supposed to be for music. Now the second, third time she's not even talking about music no more. Like that's just not even a thing. She's going there to get her back blown out at this point. Because what else you going there for? You locked in room for days, still not talking about the music, not talking about your career, the studio. You just talking about how you guys are in love now.
Laying in bed naked all day, waiting on him to come back.
Child.
Still trying to figure out it's the woman on the wall, the wife.
Does it really matter? 5 or 6. I can't miss.
They didn't lie. I can tell you that.
Okay. After 24 hours of staring at myself in those mirrors, I called downstairs to the security desk to say I wanted to leave. I was done. Well, Porsha, Robert says he wants you to be ready in an hour. He wants you to go to a party with him. He does? Yeah, he does. Can you be ready in an hour? Wear minimal makeup. That's really sick and disgusting. If I could turn back the clock, I wish I had the strength to say no. But instead, I got dressed and followed the security guard down to a large room inside of his estate that held a pool table in the middle of the floor. When I walked inside the room, there were about 20 or 30 other girls in there, all different types. A speaker that I couldn't see played one of his songs. Robert's songs were the only songs we hear all night. Now, I know that part is true because K. Michelle said that he would play all of his own music in his house all day and all night, and he had girls in fish tanks. So this part is true. But as I read on, you'll see that Porsha does not consider herself one of those girls. Porsha feels special. So I walked up to a few girls to make conversation.
Because she is special.
I walked up to a few girls to make conversation, to have something to do to pass the time. I mean, I hadn't seen or spoken to anyone since I arrived. I also wanted to figure out if these girls were staying in his house too, or if I was the only one. I've been here for a month, one said. I've been here for a week, another whispered. I'm staying in the studio, yet another girl shared. I'm actually still in school. Now, this part bothered me because Porsha is letting us know, like at no point does she say women. She only uses the term girls when referencing anything about R. Kelly. So knowing what we know now, I truthfully believe that there were underage girls there. It just, if you're seeing this as a person of a certain age, why don't you? And she always talks about wanting to help her community. At some point, if I see some underage people, I'm gonna speak up.
That's my thing, and that's my problem with this whole situation. If you were really seeing this shit, why don't you tell somebody? You could have told the police, anyone, someone that you know who's of status who can get this out to someone. You're waiting till now all the shit with him coming out, and you're gonna put this in your book now because it's gonna get you some clout. People are gonna read it because they want to know your connection with R. Kelly. You're not doing this because you're trying to help anyone. You should have did this like 10 years ago, whenever the fuck it actually happened. Don't wait till now when there's been like 8 documentaries on R. Kelly because you want to get some clout. You don't give a fuck about these people. You clearly don't. Because if you did, you would have said something.
So basically, you knew that it was teenage girls around.
And that's just as bad. So,
and she felt better than them, remember? Because she felt like she was actually the girlfriend.
But yet you still questioning who the bitch is above his bedroom. I guess I ain't gonna say too much because I already got to deal with them hoes down in the comments later.
Oh no, my people are supportive. They've been reading the dog shit out of Porsha for the last 3 chapters. But your points are valid, Terrence. It's like you should not be afraid to speak your mind, especially not on this channel, because it is what it is. About an hour into the party, Robert strolled in like he was the star of the night. All the girls started clapping and yelling and saying stuff like, "Ooh, R. Kelly, there he is. Oh. Hey, ladies, thank you for being here tonight," Robert said after walking into the center of the room near the pool table. "I just wanted us all to have a way to get together and have a good time." With that, he started to mingle with each girl. With some girls, while some girls in baggy clothes didn't speak to anyone, others were trying desperately to get into the party spirit. Everyone, though, was vying to get a little attention from Robert. Eventually, he came over to say hello to me. "Hey, Porsha, baby," he said, giving me a kiss on the lips. I didn't see him kiss anybody else on the lips, so perhaps I was his girlfriend after all. His
This
Bitch
girl
made
literally
you a
just talked
girlfriend.
to multiple women or girls. I don't know if they're girls or women yet because she don't say. But you just
She
heard from
ain't she ain't saying because she know they were girls, like
yeah.
girls. That's why
You
she
had
ain't
one
saying.
person that she been there for a month, the other one's been there for a week, and you talking about, I guess I am the girlfriend. What? You one of them? One of the, I don't know, 20 in the house? You literally just met a few of them 5 minutes ago.
Hi, I'm Porsha. What's your name? Remember, this was just last trip. He was wandering the halls, whispering.
I would ask how does she feel about the girls walking around in baggy clothes, but she don't mind being a bed, so ain't even I mean, like if I was a cisgender female and I'm walking around here and I'm seeing half of us females and
Oh my
the other
goodness.
ones in the baggy clothes and all of that, like that would have been a red flag for me. I'd have been like, well, on that note, this was cute or whatever, but I'm finna take my talents elsewhere. Thank you. Good night. Like that's what I would have did. Like it's just it was so many red flags when she first walked through the door. And you just bypassed it all because you just felt so special and your voice was gonna make it. Child.
But she didn't sing for him once, Terrence. There was
Yeah,
there was
she
not a
never
time that
sang.
she sang once for R. Kelly.
Cause he
Okay.
knew cause he knew she sounded like a damn cat in strangulation. That's why. It was just fun to have her around. That he played with her. And she allowed herself to be toyed with. That's what's really sad.
Oh wait, no. Scotty disagrees with you because
Yeah, Scotty bought that
Scotty bought
song.
Flatline.
This is
You knew
back when I
that?
liked Porsche, like I said.
You like that song
He
I
bought it.
did. I did.
and you was jamming to it?
I
Now
did.
you going against her?
That's when I liked her.
Okay.
See if she can still sing
Listen,
Oh,
I bought Mama D's I deserve too. So listen.
okay. The party ended after Robert left the room with two cute girls who had kept to themselves for most of the night. Of course, I was upset about it, but what did I expect for being in a room full of girls throwing themselves at him? I dragged myself back to that
She's so
spooky mirrored
dumb.
room, feeling worthless. I was beyond upset. I was sad. I was depressed, and the worst part about it was I wasn't even that upset with him. I felt more disappointed in myself that I had found myself in this place, at this party with these girls. When I wasn't distracted by him, I was being tortured by questions that clouded my mind. What is my life? Why am I okay with this? Why am I okay with him treating me like this? How did I get into this situation? What would have led me to this place?
You will
If I'm
hope.
so afraid of being here, why do I continue to stay here? What is keeping me here? If it was as if I suddenly snapped awake. I had to get out of there. I picked up the phone in the room, dialed 0, and was patched to the security desk. I gotta go. But he's gonna come soon, they said, trying to dissuade me. He's coming, he's coming. I bet he was. Is he coming? Is he gonna come? I pressed. He's coming. So you saw him leave with two girls. You're wanting to leave, and you are allowing these men to tell you he's coming. He's coming. So you're okay with being next up to get like I don't. It doesn't make sense.
She get it from her mama. It's a generational curse. We got to save Pilar. Dennis, come get your child.
But he never did. Hours and hours and hours rolled by. With every second and every minute, the nerve that I had just mustered up became even more lackluster. I was back in this hole again with nowhere to go and no one to tell me that this was not okay. My boredom lured me into a nap, but it didn't last long. I was woken by a guttural scream, a sound of true terror. From the inside of my mirrored hell, the sounds were muffled, but they were distinct enough that I could tell it was a girl crying. A man was screaming too, and it sounded like Robert, but I couldn't be sure. I heard a man's voice say louder and louder, "What the fuck? You got me fucked up." I soon heard loud footsteps shuffling around as if they were running, followed by a loud thump. Something or someone had fallen. Then it sounded like a woman was getting beaten, and every time a fist landed, she let out a pathetic yet energetic cry. It was terrifying. I picked up the phone immediately and dialed security. My nerve had returned. I didn't dare let them talk me out of leaving this time. If you don't change my flight right now and get me out of here, I'm calling the police. I slammed down the receiver and called the one girlfriend who knew I was there. Still fearful about what was happening in that house, I whispered on the phone to tell her what was going on. Don't worry, Porsha. We're getting you out of there. I can check on flights too. Thank God she did, pointing out a few flights that would get me back to Atlanta by nightfall. But by the time I had gotten off the phone with her, security was already calling me back telling me your car is downstairs. You can go to the airport. Over the next 2 weeks, Robert called me a few times. Most times I let the calls go to voicemail until I couldn't take it anymore. Please don't call me anymore. I'm done with you. Fast forward to years later, I sat down with investigators to tell them my story. I never in a million years thought there would be an opportunity for me to tell my truth to officials. I kept this experience so very close to the chest to protect myself. Even my own mother didn't know the depths of what happened in R. Kelly's house. I had just worked up the nerve to tell her about some of it only a few years ago. I spoke up. I felt like I had to, especially when I heard about R. Kelly's victims. I was touched by their heartbreaking stories as if I could do anything to help them or their families.
What were you going to do?
These might have been young girls that you saw him leave with. At the point that you heard these girls or this girl getting beat, why didn't you call the police? You called your friend to get yourself out of there, but you, like, at some point, aren't we our brother's keeper? If I know when somebody is super young and I'm thinking that they're getting beat, I couldn't see myself. Now I know there is some victimization here. I could not see myself not calling the police if I thought that a grown man was beating on a little girl. She just wanted to get out. And we don't know if part of the reason that she wanted to get out was she was mad because he still chose other girls over her.
Right.
It's pretty deep. I was touched by their heartbreaking stories, and if I could do anything to help them or their families, I wanted to. If I could help someone who was still trying to come forward by sitting down with them, I wanted to be able to do that. Together, our team helped with the investigation, which I was more than happy to do. I couldn't believe what had just happened. I thought, wow, I've never said any of that aloud. The past had just walked back into my life, bringing all those moments right back to my mind and those emotions right back to my heart. It took me right back to being in that mirrored room and wondering what was going on with me that I'd allowed myself to be in that situation. At 40, I wish I could turn back the clock and talk to my younger self and see the value of who I was. I share this story now for every person reading this book so that you can find your power and purpose to walk away.
So she's sitting here 40 years old, reflecting on that time, and she's talking about how she wished she would have valued herself more to not have been there. But you're not saying you wish you could have went back and told the cops that day when you heard a little girl getting beat in the hallway.
Right.
You're thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your value. You're not thinking about, I could have saved like a bunch of girls' lives back then, but I don't care about that. I care about me. I should have not been getting floated out 3 times, busting wide open, and not getting a music career. I don't care. That's what I care about. Fuck these kids that were there. I don't care about that. Like, what are we talking about here? And is this like a self-help book? Because if it is, she ain't helping nobody.
Or herself, because she sounds like an idiot.
Fucking dumb.
Because you're talking about you. It's about you. Like, just like somebody said in the comment section, it's like you talking like you were in danger, but yet you heard a whole young girl getting her ass beat, getting her ass mopped in the hallway, and you ain't said nothing.
Exactly.
Makes no sense.
Like, what was the purpose of this chapter?
Turn the card. What was the purpose? What was the purpose?
No, really,
to make herself to victimize herself even more, and it's not
working. Failed. She showed what a bad person she is. Because I, like you said earlier, if I hear someone getting beat in the hallway and I think it's a little girl, I'm not gonna be calling the cops or calling my friend, telling me I gotta get out of here because it's just too much for me. I would be like 911. I just seen like this little girl I heard her get beat in the hallway. I hear screams. There's crying. There's like 20 girls here. They look underage. Like, I would have said something. Like,
but then she didn't give a fuck because she was special.
And she was the girlfriend.
Right.
She was the girlfriend. She was special.
Even though she just met him. This is her 3rd time meeting him, and she's the girlfriend now.
Yeah, because you done laid up in his bed naked all damn day one day. Now you the girlfriend.
Okay, he gave you some lunch money, and you think you're doing something.
Oh, I'm done. Like, girl.
Looking at the picture of his wife.
Terrence ain't gonna let up on that picture of the wife. But yet her fans just think that this is the thing that be killing me. Her
baby, they
fans.
go up for the book, child. You can't tell them nothing about
Right, they
this.
going up for this shit,
Not
and they
nothing
really
about this.
they think it's cute, and it's not.
It's really not.
It's not. It makes her look crazy, and everything that us.
Crazier than this.
Uh,
Where is his children? Why
Right.
is he only
We don't
with
know.
TJ?
That part. That part.
What am I missing?
I ain't seen his kids once.
You ain't gonna see him.
So other day, Terrence and Scotty, I had a little tipsy moment on your boy Alex's channel. Oh, so now he's running? Don't run now. I had a tipsy moment on Alex's channel, and he decided to call me out. And so now I got to return the favor. If anybody wants a real good review with the little Q&A, you can go.
I'm done.
You can go to Alex Salter's channel.
You into BDSM? I ain't know that. It's always the quiet ones.
I'm done.
Or
this is not right.
If you're into any kind of, foot play, Alex is you.
Not like me.
What? You got pictures too?
On
what are we doing here? All right.
So now that you've heard, because that was just part of the chapter, what are your final thoughts, guys?
That she's an idiot.
She's a mess.
Period.
She's an idiot. It's really nothing else that can be said. Like she's an idiot, and she makes herself look even dumber than we already think she is. And then the thing of it is this whole R. Kelly chapter. Even though it's not the entire chapter, like you said, it's halfway through. It's disturbing to me because she knew and she heard shit with her own 2 ears. Unless that was a lie too.
Right.
Alex. People want to know what size shoe you wear.
Listen, y'all leave me alone. Stop it.
Child, they say he wears size 19 like Winbad. Is what they say.
I will not confirm or deny nothing.
Listen,
so he's basically
better reads off of Goosebumps books. Like, I can see. I told y'all size 14 Tims. What I tell you?
Well, I'm the thing that gets me is just her inability to see that she was one of the girls. You were a video girl. That's not going to change. Not telling us the name of the video is not going to prevent us from looking you up to see you in the Some Cut video. This is you, Porsha. I want something more aspirational out of this book. I can't say that enough.
Rena Williams, fuck you, ho, because I said what I said.
I
said what I said. It is what it is. And if you ain't know what I got to say, I mean, hey, I know I ain't everybody cup of tea. That's fine. But I said what I said. So fuck you, because it is what it is. You have a nice day and a nice new year.
They bring up your profession. Like when they bring up your profession, they think that you're not supposed to be human or have fun or just do this or do that. Like they think you're supposed to be prim and proper.
Please. Them patients cuss worse than sailors. What you mean? I know patients cuss the whole damn doctor out. What y'all talking about? Yeah.
Thank you for your service, especially during COVID.
Thank you.
That's no small feat.
He deserves to curse a couple of times.
What we can't do, guys, on this channel is these panelists are my guests. So if I have any mods in the chat and you see anybody saying anything about a panelist, you are free to delete the comment. Because before we close out, I just want to say thank you guys for coming here. A lot of times on YouTube, you don't know if you're going to mess with people. You don't know if you're going to really like them. You don't know if they're your kind of people because you've never actually met them.
Mm-hmm.
But I can vouch for each of you three. We've only met Terrence once, I believe. But I felt you. I was like cracking up. You had my stomach hurting.
I appreciate it.
Scotty, we've now done a couple things together. And we're gonna have to talk offline because I saw you on Conscious TV. We're gonna have to have an offline convo about the YouTube streets.
Oh my God.
And Alex is my boy, even if he does rock harnesses. And I think there's something called Wiki Feet you might check into. That might cater to some of your inclinations. But
listen, I'm about to start OnlyFans for my feet pictures, so let me know if y'all want to sign up.
Oh, one of my mods is putting all of your links in my chat. All these guys are super funny. We do a lot of similar content, so if you like me, you'll probably like any of them. I'm always cross-promoting, sharing people's videos because that's really what it's about. Did anybody have anything else to close out?
Porsha hoe. That's all. And she proved it in this chapter, and that's all I got to say.
And that's on period.
Right. And Alex, when you decide to do that and you decide to show something other than your feet, let me know. You might get my coin out.
You know what? There he goes.
Nurses have long coins. Nurses' pockets go deep. So
okay.
I'll think about
it. But yeah, I'm not gonna keep you. Thanks for everybody in the chat. Next chapter, I think we're going into Cordell years, and I think that
I got to be here for that one.
I got to be there for that one.
Wait, Scotty, did you open that video I sent you?
Oh, I'm not opening it. I told you I was.
Oh, Saucy Santana getting his BBL smashed in?
What?
No, not that video. He's talking about that video at Cordell, that little floating video of Cordell. He thought I was gonna open this shit. I told him I wasn't gonna open.
You gotta open it so you get ready for the chapter.
Cordell has a video where he's basically got the camera like this.
How weak. How weak we.
Oh my goodness.
My damn Cordell strikes again. And
Alex really sent me that shit to my DMs, and I made a whole tweet tagging Alex in, and I said, I hope you know I still didn't watch this shit. I hope you know that.
It was for educational purposes. You
no. I can watch Ford's video for that. I don't need to watch it.
Yeah, Ford's was better. I saw that one too. He did the better angle. Cordell was like still a beginner at the time. He didn't know what he was doing.
Right. I'm with you. Ford's a man.
Did you know Ford just did a movie with a YouTuber?
No, his brother did the movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was 4.
Nah, that was done.
That's done.
Oh, I meant Don. Weren't they both on the show?
Yeah. They're brothers.
Okay. Well, yeah. That's one of my favorite YouTubers. Keisha, Color Me Pink.
Oh, yes, we love Color Me Pink.
I love
Color Me Pink.
So if you haven't seen it, guys, she did her own movie. A YouTuber is doing big things in the streets with real actors. It's called Paper Heart. Check it out. She is one of my favorites. She is hilarious. On that note, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. So I'll drop you guys down for a second. Let's see. All right, so I just wanted to thank everybody for watching. This book is a mess, so you have to finish it with me. I think we're going into the Cordell years, and like I said, I think there was some overlap between Cordell and R. Kelly. It was a lot, but as always, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.